Hey guys, we are just ahead of really powerful eclipse season, and I wanted to take time to do a weekly snapshot for you, a weekly Astro notes, because this time that we're living in this March is huge. So this is going to be from the 10th to the 16th of March. What's going on? What can you expect? First major aspect comes on the 11th. The 11th of March, we have the sun conjoining Saturn in the sign of Pisces. And this means that, true to a Saturnian way, we might feel a little bit of boundaries or restrictions in the 3D world, in our ego, our self identity. Those restrictions are for a purpose. They're Piscean. They're so that we can truly rely on the wisdom that we carry in this lifetime and that our soul has carried for many lifetimes. So just trust it. If something isn't, go with the flow is part of the name of the game. But Sun conjunct Saturn is definitely going to be helping us get the downloads in the sign of Pisces before we do a big push into Aries in a little bit. Speaking of Aries, the second thing that's happening on the 11th and the 12th is that we have, this is on the 12th, Mercury conjoining Venus in the sign of Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And in the last podcast I mentioned, I'll put it in the notes, that Venus in Aries is kind of like mama cat energy. It's kind of like warrior goddess energy. And now we're also linking up our communications. So what does this mean? This means this isn't a battle with weapons. This is a battle with our conscious expansion and our creation and our communication. So how can we level up things we're paying attention to, the things we're speaking about, the things we're imagining, the things we're dreaming? How can we do so in a very Venusian way? Venus is about beauty. Venus is about community. Venus is about love and harmony. So all those things are being activated on the 11th and 12th. And then we go to the 13th. 13th and 14th is the full moon. It's a lunar eclipse. It's kind of a big deal. I have a whole podcast about it, so I'm just going to touch lightly on it here. During that time, we still have the sun conjunct Saturn in the sign of Pisces, so the restrictions still possibly apply. Full moons are times of illuminations. Eclipses are no exception. They lift us above and beyond linear time and space in terms of their ability to show us things and take us places. So the sun is conjunct Saturn during this eclipse. The sun is also loosely conjunct Neptune, that I talk about in the podcast. And Neptune's going to be making some aspects that are going to be truly transformational, generational, global this year, much in the same way that Pluto entering into Capricorn is just this once in a lifetime experience. I'll put a note for the podcast for the lunar eclipse here, but second to last, to let us kind of understand the other thing that's coming on the heels of that eclipse and that full moon is that the sun is sextiling Uranus. Sun still in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus. And so this means that, we're going to be activated during the solar eclipse with something. Uranus is going to be activating at that time, but it's going to be offering us tools. I would call them tools, but they're actually rememberings. They're deep wisdom knowings. For me, Uranus reminds us that we are the change. We are the high technology we seek. We have everything we need within us. So that sextile between the sun and Uranus is really going to help us ground that understanding down into the 3D world, embody it, live it, breathe it, create it, become it. The final thing that's happening this week is we have Mercury stationing retrograde on the 15th of March. This is going to be the first of 3 retrogrades in 2025. March 15th to April 7th, we have Mercury retrograde. People make a big deal about it. It's kind of mundane, but it's also, we live in a mundane world. So if our technology doesn't work, it might be helpful to know why. The second retrograde is going to be July 18th to August 11th. And the third is going to be November 9th and November 29th. But this retrograde happens to be in the sign of Pisces. So what's, significant about that is that we've got all this Piscean energy with Sun conjunct Saturn. So again, communication. So Mercury was in Aries for a little bit, and it's going to go back into Pisces, and it's going to help us remember the deeper talking points of the wisdom of our communication. And if we live in our skin at any point on this planet, I think we can all feel that this craving for knowledge and wisdom and truth and information. So this retrograde season is going to be perfect to support us in coming online in that manner. So I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you at the full moon eclipse.